It's time for Damn Good Marketing Podcast. I'm your host, Shelby Clement. From corporate executive to CEO to entrepreneur and the founder of Damn Good Marketing Live. This podcast is all about digital marketing, building a business you love, and creating a brand that's authentic to who you are. So if you're ready for honest, raw marketing conversations that you will not find anywhere else, let's freaking get it. Okay, Anna and Amanda, welcome to Damn Good Marketing Podcast. Thank you for being here.
We're excited to be here.
I'm happy to be here.
Oh my God.
Damn excited.
All right, y'all. Okay, tell everybody, is this your first podcast?
This is our first.
And y'all don't know what to expect.
Poppy took her.
Yeah, but it wasn't like this.
What was it like?
It was just like in our backyard at Cured. And
That's
it was
boring.
Just,
You know?
It was great. Like when she put it out, it was great, but it wasn't like this whole formal, more, situation.
Yeah.
Very serene. I think there was a jackhammer going on in the background.
I love that for y'all.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So if you don't know and you're listening to this, these lovely ladies own Cured. We're going to dive into their story. I'm super pumped to share it with all of you. So, Amanda, do you want to go first?
Do I?
Yes. I'm like, wait, does she want to? That was probably cruel. I should have said, Anna, do you want to go first?
Yeah, Anna's usually better at
So
being
how about
first.
this? I'll just
She's
preface
actually really good at this.
Can you tell us a little bit about Cured, where it was founded, how it was formed, how did you get here, and did you expect for it to be where it is today?
Yes, no. How was it formed? I think just conversations amongst Anna and I, just sharing our love and passion for the industry and my passion for cooking and I guess hospitality, making memories around food.
Yeah.
Really.
Let's paint the picture for them a little bit. So Cured was founded in
2020.
2020. Before that, y'all lived in Baton Rouge.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And you were doing meal prep out your kitchen, correct?
Correct.
And private dinner parties
Yes.
out of your kitchen.
I was fired from my job at Our Lady of the Lake, and I came home, and I was like, I'm done with taking care of people. I want to take care of them in a different way, and Anna was very supportive about it.
That's awesome.
So started the meal prep, and it grew and grew and grew, and kind of unexpectedly, ended up selling my car. I bought a van. Real excited about the van.
Yeah.
Had drawers on the backside. Very efficient. Great gas mileage.
Really excited about it, and then wham.
Yeah. But fast forward, I was delivering meals from Port Allen all the way into Destin, Florida.
Yeah.
So got a lot of miles on the van.
But you were pretty freaking successful to go across.
Yeah. And it kind of, highlighted our work ethic and, the stick-to-itiveness, I guess. Is that even a word?
We're going to go with it.
Yeah.
Stick to itist.
And I think just you being a self-taught
Yeah.
chef, it was really reaffirming for people to love our food.
Yeah.
In that style and like continuously gaining more clients and more people raving about. So I think it built her confidence in that like
And the
future setup for what we're doing here.
Meal prep business was just kind of taken off at that time too. I know in the hospitals, a lot of people were bringing like the meal prep stuff, and it was starting, in the little packaging and stuff. So I kind of kept an eye on it, and I was like, man, I want to do that. I want to feed people healthy meals, and I want them to feel good about it and their lunches and dinners. And I was doing, family meals and prepared meals, and then that kind of led into me being more, experimental with just different recipes and into the wine dinners, and Anna was doing her SOM class, and so we started pairing the wines with the food.
Yeah.
And kind of led from there.
Yeah, and it kind of just evolved. You said one thing. I want to just like paint the picture just a little bit more for people. So you were a nurse.
No, I was an X-ray tech.
X-ray tech in the hospital and got unexpectedly let go for reasons you can or cannot share. I don't care either way. But in that
Let's
moment,
just say
unethically,
powerful women challenge administration, and they don't like it.
they don't like it.
Yes.
It's unethical as what happened. What had happened was.
Yes.
But in that moment, did you ever feel we get vulnerable here. So I'm welcoming this for you if you want to. Fear, anxiousness from like your steady norm to holy shit, now I have to make this meal prep thing a thing to, make a career, survive on this. Like, did that ever, like, what was it like, holy crap? Or were you just like, okay, well, this is God's way of saying, like, this is what's next?
I think God definitely opened a door.
Yeah.
And I absolutely felt the pressure of, us being in a relationship. I wanted to bring my side.
Yeah.
I wanted to meet her halfway. And, that was important. I think that's kind of what drove me. And then the passion came. I was pissed off. I
The
was
drive
like,
was there.
Yeah. Like, I was mad. And I wanted to prove to these people, I wanted to prove to my family, I wanted to prove to our friends and everyone that said we could do it and the people that said we couldn't do it.
Yeah.
The restaurant industry is hard, and yes, it is. And it is a challenge, but it can be done. And I feel like, yeah.
I love that exactly. Okay, we're coming back to Cured because I feel like your story helps tie the actual like inception of Cured to come out beautifully for everyone to actually hear. So let's go back for you, like your experience, because you've been in the freaking restaurant industry for how long?
Forever.
Forever.
Really, since really at 16, I was managing a Sonic drive-in.
Yeah.
And my older sisters worked for me. And so that was kind of interesting when I tell that story because I'm like, I was 16, and I was payroll, doing their scheduling, and my sisters that were older than me were working for me. And then they were like, if anybody asks, just tell them you're 26. So dealing with like guest complaints and stuff.
Yeah.
But I was just always kind of driven.
Yeah.
Always. I mean, from where I came and, what I didn't have as a kid, and always kind of being that backbone and support for my family. Mm-hmm. So it was like, I'm going to do.
Yeah.
As soon as I could. So that led to, always continuing in the industry. I did try to leave and do some other things at one point, but I was always driven back to the service industry.
The restaurant industry.
I just have a passion for it. I think it's magical. And when you find that magic, it like kind of paints a whole different picture for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
But from there, I just kind of stayed with it and worked in other restaurants. And then I was with Don Seafood for 17 years. So
yeah, and you opened the one in Covington.
Well, I opened.
Can we say that?
Yeah, but I actually,
Okay,
I opened the helped open the Denham Springs location, and then I helped open the Gonzales store, and I was at the Gonzales store for a while, maybe like 9 years. I want to say 8 or 9 years.
Okay.
And then I was really outgrowing it in terms of like I've worked my way in the man's world of every area. And, my boss and mentor at the time, I looked at him and was like, the only way I can be you is I got to go. I need my own store. I need something more. And I was kind of being seeked from other businesses at the time just because how well I was doing for Don's.
Yeah.
So I think they kind of saw it like it's time for her to be offered something more or she's walking. So they did offer me an operating partner position to take over the Covington store.
Got it.
So that's what moved us here.
Yes. That was okay, so we're painting the picture again. This, you have gotten fired. You bought your meal prep truck, and then you were like, "We're moving," right?
Well,
or did you move first?
I guess we had the meal prep maybe for like a year.
Yeah, it would have been 2 years in May, so it was about a solid year and a half.
Okay.
Yeah.
So built up to, I was probably had about 25, 30 clients, bringing them about 10 or 15 meals a week.
Oh my God, each.
Yeah. So our kitchen table
You
would just
love
be
to
piled. Oh yeah.
Okay.
I love
continue.
to cook, and even when I cook at home, you would think I'm cooking for an army, and so I just can't.
You just can't
scale
stop.
it
You just
down.
love it.
Yeah.
Did this come from did you always because you said it's self-taught. Like at what
Self-taught.
age did you or like, holy crap, I'm really good at cooking, or I find joy in this, or I have creativity here?
Younger, both of my parents worked. My mom would leave me a very detailed list of chores and then how to cook dinner. It would be simple like meatloaf, or I think we had the pork chops in the bag thing, back in preservatives days.
Yes.
And I would start taking the instructions and I would tweak them and kind of make them my own.
Yeah.
And that was fun for me. A game my brother and I would play would be like empty the fridge, and it would just be like the nastiest meal you could possibly make for someone and make them eat it. And whoever did not get sick first would win.
How clever. Or
so I learned what
interesting.
not to make.
Yeah.
And what flavors don't go together. Parmesan cheese doesn't go with a lot of things. But
I think back to when we first started dating in my apartment. I felt like I had nothing,
Yeah.
like no food. I was like, I have nothing. We have nothing to cook. And she was like, oh, I'm going to make spaghetti. And I'm like, how are you going to
With
make
what?
spaghetti?
Yeah.
With grape jelly.
Shut up.
And it was the best spaghetti, but her mind works like that. The chef mind is
It
very
wasn't the
unique.
basis of the sauce.
No,
She
but
had a
you know,
can of tomato
it's like
paste,
how you
but I
break
used
it down.
the jelly as like to cut the acid, and make it a little sweeter.
But all the things you think like that,
Wow,
her mind works like that. It can take a component or an ingredient and break it down to, the baseline. So it's very creative.
That's
It's
so
different.
fascinating.
Yeah,
And for you, well, how old were you when you did this with your mom? Like whenever you had the chores, did you say that?
Probably 12,
12?
13.
And then you can just thank your brother for like making a game out of it because that's what made you better.
He was my test, my
I love
test
it.
dummy.
Okay. So back to you with the opening of the Covington store. I just love telling these
I
stories.
didn't actually open it, but I
meant like, you know what? You're a bad.
I mean, I
bitch.
did go over there and
you
help open it,
basically,
actually.
you
I did.
actually
You did.
skyrocket. Okay, so
I did.
you are that person. Okay, you are that for them. But the story behind both of you and where you are now, I just think it's so fascinating, and it's really relatable to a lot of people in entrepreneurship. So you might think you're going to be somewhere forever, or you pour so much into someone else's dream or job or whatever, and then a door opens and you're like, holy crap, I didn't see that coming. So can you explain a little bit more about like your experience at the Covington store? What happened? Because then I want to tie this into like how Cured really was formed when y'all did take that risk.
Yeah. I think for me, it was being offered that position was more about for a woman's stance on the company as well. It was a very man-ran company, and a lot of women weren't at the table.
Yeah.
So when I got that opportunity, brought to me, it was like, I have to take this.
Yes.
And not only do I have to take it just because it's the next move for me and something that I want to be to the top, but it was more about like all the other women in the company.
Yeah.
And I had so many women call me and was like, this is crazy. This is awesome. That, they were very proud. And it was a big movement probably for them, but for me too,
Yes.
But when I got there, it was a challenge, I mean, it's like you're taking it on and you're trying to please yourself, but also everyone else. And I'm a pleaser. Like, I'm going to work my tail off to get it done. I'm not going to give up. So, I had a lot of employees that I was, managing. It taught me a lot though. It was definitely a huge, challenge and experience, but I did really well. I raised them 43%. I was grinding, I did Dale Carnegie training. So it taught me a lot of like managing people and their skills and different personalities and all the things. But it was definitely taking a toll on me because I felt like I was, giving it all.
Yeah.
But not really, I was being pushed back a lot. I had to fight for the salary that I should have been given as a woman. I was being judged the way I looked or what I was
You
wearing.
were literally under a spotlight.
Yeah, everything. And it didn't matter. It was what I was doing versus what the men were doing, and it was very different.
Yes.
So I guess, internally, it was a lot. It was taking on me a lot and very stressful, but I still loved what I was doing no matter what. I mean, the guests and the people I was mentoring was a big deal for me, But in my heart and my soul, I felt like I was growing past it. Like I had so much more creativity inside of me, and I knew that there was something else pulling me, like a vision for my own, or for me to kind of take it and do my own, but I wasn't ready to leave. I mean, I was really, even in the beginning phases of Cured being born, this was going to be Amanda's gig. I was going to still, stay with Dawn's, but a lot of that was more out of comfort and staying with, the salary and the security and feeling like, how do I step out of that?
Because y'all launched in 2020, which is the beginning of COVID.
During the pandemic.
And you're like, well, so that doesn't really help either. I want you to stay where we are, like to remember where you're at. But I also want for the listeners to understand, when you deal with such high levels of stress, you internally probably, or you're stressed, but you don't see it as much as your partner would see you stressed. And at lunch the other day, you shared with us, I love this, so I'm going to bring this back. I love when you're like, shit, what did I say?
I already know
I know what she's saying.
Okay. I literally was like, holy crap, I need to tell John to do this. Y'all were new here, right?
Yeah.
And she was so stressed that you literally walked her into Ulta. And you were like, fix her. Help
her makeup.
Do something.
Make her feel good.
Well, there was this very nice trans woman.
Yeah.
And then, how Ulta is. They always want to give you a bag because I'm not putting anything in my pockets, y'all. I'm just here to help her.
Yes.
And I said, ma'am, can you please just make her feel pretty for a moment? And, oh, baby, come here. And she grabbed her, put her in the chair, and then I think I walked down to the barbecue place or something.
You were like, okay, I'll be back. But I feel like that's just so, okay, so like if you were, it's so awesome to even see supporting partners in the sense of like, you know that she was so stressed instead of like you getting upset or angry or whatever, like you were there like, holy crap, like you're doing everything that you can. One, to make a stance. One, to earn what you have. I mean, to actually prove what you earned, that you're meant to be there and like to show up. And she's there to support you. I think that that's just so awesome. And I think it's very, very important to the people that are listening, like to have a supporting spouse in whatever you're going through, because there are dreams that you are chasing. And there are going to be days where I'm a total meh. And John's like, I love you. And he understands. But I mean, it's still got to be frustrating and aggravating as well. So I just wanted to pinpoint that, like, you as a human being, I was under so much stress. Even now, I'm like, John, I'm so tired. He's like, Shelby, you're under stress. I'm like, I don't feel like I'm stressed.
Yeah, I was the same way. I'm breaking out hives and didn't know why.
But like, you have to have someone in your corner, whether it's your spouse, your partner, literally whoever it is, your friend, your mom, your dad, whatever, to be like, hey, we got to take a step back. Like, you got to turn off for a second to find yourself. And I just find it so fascinating that you were just there to prove a point, to do your job. You were damn good at it. And you were like, I'm staying here. But like, God's like, hey, I want you over here. Do you think you ever would have left? I'm gonna let you tell the story of the scenario of what happened if you want. Do you think you would have ever left if that wouldn't have happened? So maybe tell us maybe what happened, and then maybe would you have left?
Okay. So in the making of Cured, you know, I was trying to balance a little bit of time to spend in the building because COVID had hit, and we actually had an opportunity to get in the space and kind of do a little bit with the space and put our touches on it because they were closed down. Prior to that, we weren't going to. It was going to be a turnkey, and she was just going to roll with it. And I was going to be in the back support of just a partner support. Well, because of COVID and because they were shut down, we were able to get in there, do our own thing. And I was kind of balancing. I was still at full-time at Don's in Covington. And then I was like after hours coming and helping, you know.
Let me say, increasing their numbers during a pandemic.
Yeah.
You were like just so okay. Continue.
So I'm juggling all this, like, and I'm grinding, and you know, and it's great. Everything's fine. Well,
it's like Ross on Friends. It's fine. I'm fine. Everything's
fine,
Why
it's
is your
fine,
voice keep pitching? It's fine. Anyway, go ahead.
Doing what I love.
Well, they knew what was happening in terms. I've talked to partners at the time. They knew that Amanda's business, what we were doing, what she was doing, all the things.
They are buying meals from me.
But yeah, like they're all involved.
The
and there was no, I even called one of the partners and kind of had insight on, you know, should I even put my name financially? And I kept everything very separate for that reason, because I was very committed to them for 17 years. It was like my father, it was like my brothers, you know.
Yeah.
It's like people that I trusted with everything. I moved my life. I gave up so much. And a lot of that was for them too, you know, for their business, for what they created. And I was a huge part of that. Well, when it went live on Facebook, a post about the building or the space of Cured and the creation. I worked a 17-hour shift that day. I remember it was a Monday. It was an oyster night. And I even let the other guy that was kind of training, that, you know, was in the training probably to take my position at the time, go home, have an early day. And I get a phone call that morning from the CEO or the boss at the time. And the phone call is just, we need to part ways. And I was like, what do you mean we need to part ways? You don't have the audacity to have a conversation with me to my face?
Right.
I've worked for you for 17 years. I've given my life to you guys. This is no way to let me go. What happened? What's going on? And he was like, poor performance. I said, no way. There's no chance in hell it's poor performance. You just bought me a purse a week ago because my numbers are 43% higher.
Yeah.
So what's really going on? And he was, is your name on that lease? I said, is my name on what lease? Is your name on that lease in Amanda's business? And I said, well, I'm going to support my business wife and my partner in business. Oh, she cannot be successful in this industry. And hung up the phone. Ripped my figures salary from underneath me that day. Cut my phone off in 15 minutes. It was disgusting. I was like, I cannot believe this just happened.
Yeah.
I had called, you know, Tracy Landry at the time, and you know, the family, and was like, this is just not a representation of your company that I was always trained in for 17 years to treat someone. I cannot believe that this is how y'all are letting me go.
Yeah.
And he was like, it should have just been a conversation. It shouldn't have been like that. I said, well, I'm gone. Like, that's it. Done. So at the time I was very beat down. I mean, of course I called Amanda so upset, like I couldn't even process, like, what just happened?
Well, it's like you literally were in a relationship for 17 years.
Yeah.
Like, it's literally like going back to like an actual, it's a breakup. and like you've poured your life into this. It's not, it's the freaking restaurant industry. It's not 8 to 5.
No.
It's literally long hour days. You're pouring so much in. You've increased all of their numbers for them. You've moved around. So it's like so many things that you poured to be blindsided by poor performance. Like that doesn't even make sense. They needed a reason for you.
Where was the record? How many? You didn't sit me down and tell me that.
There's no written warning,
let someone
nothing.
17 years, no way. No.
Right.
So I knew at that point it was emotional. It was a threat in a terms of like, I think they know that where I grew and they felt some credit to who I become and how successful they probably knew I was going to be. If I had any hands in this, she was going to be successful. Even if I was on the back side, because that's just who I am. I'm going to.
Well, first off, she's right. You're going to support her. So like, it doesn't matter if you work for her, work with her, or still work for someone else. It does not matter.
And I was like, you can't say that for one. That's just
honestly,
so wrong.
Looking at them as a restaurant, first off, there are multiple locations. They're a large restaurant. Y'all, we didn't even tell people. Okay, what's cured? Can you give them a spill, please? Because this is not just Louisiana Covington-based podcast. Give them a little 30, 60-second restaurant, coffee shop.
Cured?
Yeah.
It's a coffee cafe, wine bar, relaxed, quirky environment. I think a lot of this stems through the story you'll hear is we created a space that we weren't given and a space that we wanted to create for people.
And it's
to come as you are, to be community-based, to really love one another. Doesn't matter who you are, you come through our doors and you could come 5 times a day.
We love
and it's at your convenience and it's at your time. It's not, full service. So you're coming in, you're walking to the counter and you're being treated the way you want. You want to show your tattoos, show them. You want to show your piercings, show it. We were always shut down from all those things of being creative and being artsy and being who we wanted to be. And I think our story kind of evolves into what Cured is.
This is why I keep telling you both, you need a freaking mini doc or just a full doc. Because I realized
how many juicifers come with a mini doc?
Right? I'll be there to coach you. I'll be like, you're like, Shelby, you're so annoying. Leave. I realized that we just jumped right into it and I was like, yeah, Cured. And then I'm like, wait, people probably don't know what Cured is. But anyway, I find it so fascinating. Even one time I was sitting there, I was like the only person and I think y'all were closing, but nobody even told me I had to leave. And then I finally looked around and read the room and I was like, okay, I think it's time.
Yeah, we'll never tell you to leave.
But the thing is, I remember one time I had a shit day and I literally went and ordered a cheese tray. First off, the cheese tray, I ate it by myself. Everybody listen to this. If you love cheese, you understand that you can eat any amounts of cheese by yourself. And I had a beer. That's when I could have, dairy, gluten, all the good shit.
All the fun things.
And I just remember being like, I feel so calm. And working. I was literally working while I was indulging on that. And I just find that y'all's environment, your environment is so welcoming. And I feel like in there, I will say this though, if I need to get shit done, I cannot come to Cured. And it's not a mean thing. It's
and neither can I.
You see so many people.
Who you are, because a lot of people can't. There's half the world that can and half that cannot.
Because I'll even have headphones in and people will be like, hey, Shelby. I'm like, hey, I'm on a call. But it's like fine. But we'll go in and it's so fun because you actually do get to network. You do get to see people, but you still get to work. And I feel like it's just so, and the food's good. I wonder who the chef is. You know what I mean?
So just to kind of put back to when I was let go and the trauma that was for me.
Yeah.
I think I could have taken it 2 ways. I could have walked with my head down and let them win. But for me, it was like, I'm about to blow some smoke up my ass, up their ass. I'm going. We're going. We're going to be successful.
See, it
whatever
took
it
two
takes.
people to piss off.
So it was like, you know what? Now it's liquor license. Now it's full throttle.
Well,
we
they
added
pissed me off too.
Everything. Dyed my hair blonde, pierced my nose, all the things. It was
what color was your hair?
It was really dark.
Oh, okay, I was like, wait.
This color.
But just cut my hair off. I mean, it was just I'm going to be, you're going to be
who you are.
New change for me and a new era and new world. And it's you're not going to take this from me. My hard work and who I am and all the things that I worked so hard for all my fucking life. You're not taking it.
You're
Sorry
not.
for the F-bomb. But
it's okay.
It was just very, it was a moment of how am I going to handle this? And it was you're not going to win. So there's little stories of where we came and proved our point, I think.
I mean, I'm sure there was that moment where there was the embrace and the cry, but I don't remember that. What I remember is the phone call and saying, where's the fucking paperwork?
Exactly.
And I'm like, what paperwork? She's like, where are you at with all of these vendors? And I'm like, oh, well, I'm 50 and 65% on all of it. And she's like, give it to me. That's my weak side business. I mean,
I saw it in your face. You were like, what paperwork?
We need license. We need all the things right now.
I mean, you're like, she is ready to go.
We're going to blow this out of weird.
But she was like, she just ripped that folder out of my hand and just started calling these people. And I think the next day we had a coffee tasting with Kyle from Abita. And
That was a big moving
He
moment
had a
for
really
me.
good conversation with Anna and gave her some pretty good insight just on, leaving stability and leaving a place of comfort that you grow into and like taking the leap. And she just looked at me and she said, "We're getting the expensive coffee and we're going to blow this shit up." And I'm like, "Let's do it."
You're like, yes.
Because we had 3 different types of coffee and we went with the expensive one. But it's
the
the
best
best
one.
coffee.
So people love it.
That's why people are in and
Honestly.
out constantly, and you're like, give me your table at Cured.
Honestly, I mean, our coffee, we travel a lot and our coffee is phenomenal. I mean, I can say a lot about the food because
And we
personally,
added coffee kind of in the end of our whole concept design.
We had one day of
threw
training.
coffee in.
You're like, why
One
not
day
throw
training.
it? They offer
One day of
breakfast, we're
training,
offering breakfast. You know
a
what I
good
mean?
friend from the South Shore, she came up and she trained our girls. And then the next day we opened and it was like, holy shit.
We're doing it.
Yeah.
But isn't it so fun? Like I find, so you and I are very similar because I'm like, if I have my mind set up or someone pisses me off, we're doing it. Like, I don't care. I'm going, we're getting it done. My husband, he's like a little bit more like, Shelby, but like, did we analyze everything? I don't want to take my risk. But it's just, I find my personality better. If I just do it, then I'm like, damn, that was good. Because otherwise, if I procrastinate and I don't feel it, like it's never going to happen.
Well, I overanalyze
You overanalyze it,
and
you
then
become
I'm
a
not
perfectionist and all those things.
I'll talk myself back down, and it's like, wait, hold on, just go. It's
Just
gonna be
freaking
fine.
go.
Don't overthink it.
No.
But back to the question of what I would have left.
Yes.
What
Would you have ever left if they would have said bye?
I think I would have, but I think it would have taken me a little more time for sure. I think I already had it in my head and in my gut, in my bones. This wasn't for me, being shut down with creativity, things that, I rewrote the bar program for the locations and things I was bringing to the table. It was just too creative for them or too much. And that pushed back. So I knew in my heart, like, I'm going to leave. This is not going to, I'm to the max. I've done everything here. But I think it would have taken a couple years for sure.
Isn't it funny how like we need the from someone else? Because sometimes we would have waited, and like that time is not up to us.
And trust me, I don't want to give him that credit.
I gave her the oomph.
I don't want to give him that credit because I think
or
about
someone
that.
else.
Like,
I will give the oomph to anyone else except
He don't
for
get that
Don
credit.
Seafood.
Okay, we're not gonna give him credit. I'll say this. Even like I talk about this too because I don't. This is what I say. Like when I was at my previous job, I was gonna drop their name, but I'm like, man, that's a little much. But there was one guy in there that we butted heads, and like literally, I wasn't good at marketing to him. He brought a marketing firm in. He basically put me as a receptionist, data management, data entry clerk. I would drive to New Orleans every day to do data entry because they were like, you're not good at your job, but whatever. And when I first left, he was my motivation. Like he was my it was like, I'm going to not do things that he did. So I'm not going to micromanage. I'm going to believe in the team that I hire. I'm going to believe that what I teach them is going to work and effectively. I'm going to do whatever. Cause like you say, like the things you up and Cured, everybody is welcome because for so long you were so restricted on who you could be, what you could show up as, whatever. And so
they kind of catered to like one type of
human
demographic,
or it's not just whatever. So it's that person that gives you the motive and the kickstart that now I'm like, John, should I send him something in the mail and invite him for the podcast or just to come to DGML? Like which one should we invite him to? Do I think that like I'm giving him credit for, cause I quit on my own terms, but like he was my motivation to be really effing successful where people knew my name and they knew I'm really good at marketing. So like for you, it could be that guy. You don't have to give him credit for it, but he was the person that God put in your life to give you the kickstart that you needed to actually get this off the ground.
And just the manipulation, the daily like restriction of things that he did and how he managed people makes me better.
So
the credit is like, it makes me not want to be that. I don't want to be that. I want to be a better boss. I want to be someone different than that.
Well, I think you also took the good things that you learned out of the 17 years, and you also took note of the things you absolutely don't want to incorporate in your business model.
And in the Gonzalez store, I was under Ray Stonemark, and he was like my mentor. And we're still friends to this day. And I would say I would give most of my credit to him because he really taught me a lot of things, and to give me the go and, the independence of that and like growing and all the things. He's still there and he's still with the company. Unfortunately, he should leave. But
I think it's more so of the motivation and the drive, that the little that you
Yeah.
need for that person that was the negative in your life. But we needed that little, I mean, sometimes it is a positive, sometimes a negative, because there are people in our past that we do give credit to that actually taught us something to where we
Yeah.
are today. Because you have to go through certain
Right.
things to get to where
Good
you
or
are.
bad.
Exactly. So we can give those people the credit. I just like to say they're my motivation because
Yeah.
I don't, because you said it a while ago. I don't remember which one, but the guy from Abita was like, you know, take the
Kyle.
risk, take the chance. Because honestly, in entrepreneurship, if you don't have the guts to take the risk or the chance, you will not be successful. And
No.
if you're scared of failing and falling flat on your ass, then you also cannot be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And I find that that's something that people don't really realize because being an entrepreneur is, and especially owning a restaurant entrepreneur is a lot different, I believe, than a lot of industries in my I mean, y'all can totally give me what y'all think on that, but I think it's harder because you're dealing straight with like the public. It's up and down all the time. It's long hours.
Yeah. I mean, I do think it's definitely a hard.
I think what keeps our flame going is, you know, the community and, you know, we'll be at dinner or, you know, hanging out wherever, you know, in the community and people come up to us and I've never seen them before. Anna knows who they are, but, you know, I'm usually in the back. So I just see everybody's from their neck down. You know, I don't,
Yeah.
if you see it in here,
yes.
all I see is sweatpants season.
Yeah.
All right, guys, let's quit wearing those.
Yeah. I love it. I can't. I'm going. The juicifer's working for her right now. Okay, continue.
Oh, just a little PSA for everybody.
You don't like sweatpants?
I don't like when men wear sweatpants without underwear.
Oh, I know,
And
I
they come
understand.
in
And their little wet
cured,
spot, and that's
and
all you
all I
see?
see is the wet spot and the package.
I understand.
You
I understand. I get it
You
now.
can
I was like,
edit
wait,
that
I
out,
love
but
it. No.
I'm just kidding.
I don't
you.
mind, but like I literally like, wait,
No
I'm
one's gonna wear sweatpants in the cure now.
I'm gonna come in with sweatpants. Like, I mean,
They're all gonna be like this.
anyway. So
Wait, where was I
you
going?
were
Just that I mean, it's hard and it could be like the hardest day, but you get this reassurance or this text
Yeah.
message
No, I
or
mean-
somebody stops us to like compliment us. And, you know, it's like, wow, this is what we're doing it for.
Yeah.
Like, we
You know,
can't
we're
forget that.
Checking our email at night and we're getting, you know, great Google reviews. And, you know, those are little things that actually, I mean, they actually mean something. And not only on the Google sites or the Yelp sites, but it means something to our employees when they see something, when they see recognition. You know, it makes us feel like we're doing our job right because nobody comes in and says, hey, you're doing everything right.
Not
you
our
know?
employees, you know. You don't get
definitely
that.
not. Yeah.
That is one difference. You know, I'm used to having a team underneath me or like that I'm managing that's, you know, like a team, but it's like
Kinda
just
like the
us.
barrier.
Somebody like
Yeah.
motivate me. So maybe you're the motivation for us or
I am.
other people.
I'm the annoying. Hey.
Yeah, our friends and our people,
it's-
like that's our motivation because we don't have
When you
that.
surround, like I think when you're a small business owner and because you don't have the tiers of whatever, you have to surround yourself with people that think like you,
Like-minded.
that act like
Yeah.
you, that are risk adverse like you, that are, I want to burn it down one day, but I'm
Yeah.
just kidding. I'm going to like,
Exactly.
I'm just bitching. Somebody bring me some alcohol, like
Right.
something, because if you don't, you will not survive.
No.
Like you will not
It will
survive
suck
in this.
the life out of you.
Exactly. So literally, I'm like, hey, today's a set it off kind of day. Listen to Boosie. I'm like, what?
I actually listened to Boosie like the whole week, and I really just went nuts.
I listened to it this morning. See, this is why I have so much. Wait, like nuts
I
in a
got
good way
all
or a
the
bad
things
way?
done.
Yeah.
See, we
Everything
forget
done.
about that music because I was
Music
doing.
is a big deal.
It is
Yeah.
a big deal, and like when I got
I was
here,
on the way here thinking that.
You were listening to Boosie?
No.
Oh,
It's like
yeah.
Teskey
Listening to
Brothers.
Lake Street Dive.
You know, everybody has their
No,
own
it
pump
was
up
it was
music.
the song about you can change, and it's like any point in your life you can change.
Can you send it to
Yeah.
me so I can jam to that one?
You know,
next?
and it was like kind of moving. It's like no matter where you're at, you can change.
You can pivot.
Like, and
You can
you
do
can
whatever.
create more, and you can be something more, be something better. Like just change. It's okay.
Because I don't know where in
You don't
like
just stay.
Right, we got stuck somewhere
Thinking
along the
it's
way.
just this
You have
one
to do
way.
this. You're scared to pivot. You can't change. You can love it for 10 years, and then the next you might want to be I don't know, a dog
Yeah.
groomer, walker, or someone. Like you might wake up and be like, I want to shut Kira down. And I want to be a dog walker. I mean, I might have to bring you some beer and be like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
But
Are you going through it?
what are we going to talk about? Or we really love it, but like you can pivot, you can change, you can grow, you can make it more intimate, smaller, whatever you want to do.
And we've had some pretty big challenges. I mean, I think the night before we opened, we were trying to test run some recipes, and someone went to the restroom and the toilet was clogged. And we had a plumber.
God rest his soul, passed away.
He did pass away.
Aw.
But We had a plumber there until 5 a.m. and we were opening at 7.
7 a.m. I said, he said, I will work on this toilet as long as you're here and as long as you want me to. I said, our first day is tomorrow. We open at 7 a.m. We will stay here until this is fixed. Like we have to open these doors. The cooler went out at 3 a.m.
Oh, shoot.
The plumbing, he came down from the roof, lays out on the ground, and he's like, I'm so sorry, you guys, you're not going to be able to open. It was 5 a.m. And all of a sudden we heard, doo-doo. And he goes, oh my gosh, is that the toilet? He went in there and it flushed. I looked at Amanda. I said, get in the car. We're going to take a shower, and our team's going to be here in 1 hour. And so she's crying in the shower because she's like, this cannot be our first day.
We were so tired. Like we
haven't slept.
We went through all of the coffee training. We went through all of the menu training, and then the toilet backs up. And then I went through toilet training.
But she's
You
like,
can do it all.
I learned it.
she's like, there's no way we can't do it. We can't do this. I'm like, get in the car. We are opening.
And that's
these
the
doors.
part about
I'm
the
like, we got
companionship
this.
and
Yes.
the partnership.
We got this.
Where
Like,
we're
not
motivating each other.
Right.
You know,
When one's down,
And
the
we
other
get your
way.
head out of your ass. We're doing it.
We
Yeah.
spent too much. Like the
It's
devil
time.
tried to work against y'all
It's
so much
time.
in one day.
One
day.
So many times. It's so crazy.
Well,
in
just that one
building.
day. You're
Just
like
that
the
one day.
freezer.
Everything.
Whatever.
And
I'm
I
like,
looked at her, I said, they're not taking us down. Whoever in this building, the devil, I don't care. They're not taking us down. This is what we showed up for. This is what we've created. We're opening these doors. We will pivot. The cooler's going to change. We're going to move this. We're not going to have the grab and go today. Like, we just pivoted. And we opened those doors, and the support was freaking amazing. And we ran that machine like it had been open years. It was
I don't even
wild.
doubt it.
The first day, I was like, this is no way our first day. And we hadn't slept. So it was just adrenaline.
Yeah.
You're like, let's do it.
Let's go.
Keep coffee.
And
Good
then-
thing you had coffee.
I know.
Day 2 happened. Day 3,
the storm.
tropical storm Zeta or something
Ida
weird.
or Zeta? Ida?
No,
One
No,
of
Ida
weird.
didn't
It was
come.
like
it
something
was a
small
crazy
passed.
tropical storm that just blew through, blew out the electricity. We're the last ones on the grid to get electricity. So
Everyone
our
else has
third day,
power.
we're shut down, and we're just standing there.
And we're like, why are we not open? And I called the city, and they're like, you start a different grid. So everyone else was open. I'm watching all the businesses packed down. I'm like, third day. We're about to lose all our product. We didn't have, we had to get generators there. We were freaking out. I mean, this is all our money. We had
Thankfully,
nothing. We had no
yeah.
investors. It was every money we had in our pocket. We were down to, are we going to make payroll, the first payroll? Is this even going to work? Are we going to be shut
Yeah.
down the first week? Or what are we doing? And
Just
it was
the
all these
challenges
things.
the first week were like, y'all shouldn't be doing this. Y'all shouldn't be
open.
doing this. And it was just like,
And
just
y'all did
blast through
it.
it.
We're on
Yeah,
year
we did it.
5.
And then
Yes.
Right?
we
This
got,
is year 5.
Yeah. This year will be 5 years.
It'll be 5 years October.
We're having a party.
I know.
yeah.
We need to.
We haven't really celebrated because of
Okay,
so
we're
many-
having a party
I
now. I'm in
know.
your
Yeah,
life.
I
we
mean,
need to have one.
We need to have one.
this year.
I think October 27th, is that it? Or 26th?
We go back and forth. 26, 27.
Is our
day
anniversary
feels
for
great.
Cured,
Yeah.
and it's always around block party, last block party, Halloween stuff, all the things that the community is bringing up, and that's great and everything, but we don't get to really celebrate Cured.
Okay,
So
we're
I
going to
think this
celebrate
year
Cured.
We're
We have
really
some
going to
months.
blast off,
We got-
especially after the
5
big
years.
remodel, and we're going to
Yeah.
have all of we want everyone to see it too. So
Welcome to y'all's own damn block party. Screw it.
right.
Technically, kind of like.
And I think, once you hit that 5 year, especially in the service industry, it's like, okay, we made it. Like we've established a brand,
And we're here
and
to
we're
stay.
here and we have our regulars, and you get to a good place once you get past those first, because those first few years, it's a little tough. I mean, it almost ripped our relationship apart. I mean, all the challenges, it was a wild run, but now I feel like that stability is kind of there more
Yeah.
of like, we're here.
Yeah.
Now, what are we doing next?
What are we doing next?
What are we doing next?
To be continued.
Dot, dot,
Dot, dot, dot. We'll have a part 2. Okay, last question, because they just told me we're whatever. See what happens when you're having fun? See, it's not that bad, right?
I know, we could talk all day.
Okay, if you could give one piece of advice to an up-and-coming entrepreneur or someone that maybe you can go to either one. Up-and-coming entrepreneur, what would your advice be? Or if someone's stuck in their job and they absolutely hate it and they're just there because they're scared of getting uncomfortable and like taking a risk, what would your advice be? So you can hit either one of those, because I feel like or you can hit both, because I like your answers are going to be just great. And I'll make time for this.
I guess for me, it would be like, don't be afraid to be in the depths of the uncomfortable, you know, and don't be afraid to kind of strip it down and be authentically yourself and who you are. And sometimes you get lost when you're in your everyday of doing the same thing or working for someone else. But if you strip all that away and you're just vulnerably standing there, you can build mountains. You can do fucking anything.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's the cool part. And you're not able to see that unless you step away, you know, and unless you have the challenge or unless you have living in that fear or that moment of like not stability, but you're about to build the best stability of your life.
You're about to build, this is just the beginning.
Yeah, it's just the beginning. So, I mean, my advice is just, you got to go for it. If you have in your gut that feeling or that, you know, you don't want to be in the 9 to 5 or you don't want to be where you're at or whatever that is, maybe you're giving all your creativity for someone else. I think you got to make the jump. You have to challenge yourself because there's always something else you can go back to.
Yeah. You can always go get another job.
Yeah. But why not? I mean, we're all so creative and we have so many things to offer. And sometimes we don't get to show the world that.
Yeah.
You know, and this just Cured is just a small part of who we are. You know, and a lot of that vision is just created based on the community. But we have so many other ideas and empire that we could build.
This is just the beginning.
But if you put the right people
like
around you and you motivate people that share like minds and you start talking about big things, it's like you can do anything.
I feel like sometimes
you can do
not
quite literally
having
anything.
a plan is sometimes the best plan.
Yes.
Because it forces you to be creative and it allows more of an organic response.
Natural, whoever, how you come is how you are. And
Like
literally it's
we had no plan with Cured but to open.
and you didn't even plan it to be a coffee shop.
And our
Correct.
fear too was like being a lesbian couple and opening in downtown Covington.
I know, I remember y'all telling me that.
I mean, even, you know, for the gay community and the safe place that we provide, I think. And we were kind of hesitant, like, are we going to be shunned or are people going to show up or people going to want to support us? And man, it just showed us how when you are authentically yourself and you just are good people will come. People will support you.
Yeah.
They will love you. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter
You don't have to
religion,
be
race,
loud and proud.
whoever.
You can
It doesn't
just
matter. Just
be you.
Just
who
be
are.
you.
Yeah.
Be you. And I think that's so true to both of you and brave and motivating to even like the Gen Zers that we all deal with every day. To just like give them the courage to be who you are, come as you are, be kind. Literally, it all boils down to being kind and just chase your dreams and literally be who you are.
Yeah.
I think that's awesome. So thanks y'all for having me.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me on my podcast.
Thanks for letting us share our story.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing your story. I still think you need a mini doc. I think this story could have gone.
We have more, of course.
on.
That is
And then
wonderful.
we'll have y'all for part 2 when
part 2 on the ...
when the part 2 ... comes. We will have you here. Maybe not here, but here.
So come to Cured on Columbia.
Come to Cured on Columbia because it's a freaking awesome jam. I tried y'all's tuna the other day. It was freaking fire. I don't eat tuna anywhere because it creeps me out. But I did have your tuna, and it's holy shit so good.
Like the fillet or the salad?
Like
The seared.
the sandwich.
Yeah. Oh, the sandwich.
Oh, gotcha. Tuna,
Sorry,
tuna
people
fish.
would be like, "Hey, yeah, tuna fish." Sorry,
They're going to be coming to Cured. I want that
Remember,
tuna fillet sandwich she was talking about.
You remember I don't want lettuce. I ain't eating no salad right now. Don't give me lettuce. No, but the tuna fish. Sorry, y'all. I've had so many things there, so y'all have to go. You have to get the coffee. You have to go for your work date or just go for a date because you can drink cocktails, whatever. But go to Cured on Columbia, Covington.
Big things happen at Cured.
Big.
I look around, I'm like, there's business deals happening today. There's people talking about their wedding, you know, rehearsal. It's just so many cool things, everyone all throughout the day.
Yeah.
You know, it's happening in the 4 walls.
And it's not your typical coffee shop where you have to be quiet. Like,
No,
it is. And that's
We
why
want-
you
we
can
want a
have great
vibe.
conversations because no one can really hear each other.
We have blues and rock and roll.
And it's amazing. So go to Cured on Columbia in Covington, guys. If you love this podcast, like, comment, share. And until next time, let's freaking get it. And that's a wrap on another episode of Damn Good Marketing Podcast. Thank you all so much for being here. Make sure you comment, review, share it with a friend. Come back next week. And until next time, let's freaking get it.